youngest brother walked into the front room. He walked in the front room smiling, and I looked at my mum, and I said, "Who's this kid?" She goes, "What do you mean?" I looked at him, and I said, "I don't know who the hell told you could walk into my mum's house smiling like you're in your mum's house. But if you don't get the fuck out of my mum's house right now, I'm gonna hurt you." Do you know what the boy said to me? You do know I'm your little brother, innit?
Okay. So you didn't recognize your little brother?
I did not recognize my baby brother. And my mum came to check me in jail. She goes, "You know what? I'm glad." I never forget it. My mum looked me dead in my face and said, "I'm glad you're in jail."
Okay.
I swear to you. She said, "I'm glad you're in jail. You're gonna stay here, and I don't care." And I just thought, okay, I can see where you're coming from, because
you could end up in a box if you was out on the road.
There you go. No, for real.
So first of all, if I could just ask you to introduce yourself.
Well, my actual name is Ose Okojie.
Yeah.
But obviously everybody know me as Mr. Sicka. Yeah. So why they call me Sick? It's just my understanding of the world. Like, I reckon the world is a very sick place that needs healing. So, and when you grow up as a young black man, you see a lot of sickening things. Like when you grow up, so it's just a depiction of what I see in the world and what I've seen in my lifetime. So I'm just sick, Mr. Sick, everything's sick.
Got it. So with some of my guests, I asked them to choose a location, something that's relevant to their story.
Of course.
So you brought me here to the White City Estate. What does this place mean to you?
So I had to laugh like that, but this is everything. This where we're standing right here, right now, this is it. This is it. This is the G. This is where it started. This is when you knew that there was no turning back. Like White City. So you remember we're talking about White City in 1991, 92, 93 times, just coming out of the 80s. You've got all of this is Jamaicaville.
Right.
This is Jamaica. Like you stuck in there with everybody. It's all mad.
Yeah.
So, and then everybody's deprived. Like what you're looking at when we do step outside, what you're looking at now is not what it was. I remember when we lived, because I literally lived at that number one there. I literally lived downstairs at that door right there, and my bedroom window was right there. But I remember when we first, in the 90s, when your windows would be broken, and you wouldn't have no heating. When we moved into that house, there was no radiators.
Okay, right.
I mean, real talk. I remember me and my brother used to sleep, you know the furnace, the heating thing that used to have in the front room? And you turn it on and it kind of looks like
the Calagas thing.
Yeah, that kind of thing, yeah. We used to sleep, it used to be real hard. So when you say to me, what does White City mean survive?
The struggle represents the struggle for you. Yeah.
Real talk, survive. Like, or if not, you're gonna sink. You're gonna sink hard.
Okay, that's cool.
It's not,
That's interesting. So even just to kick this off, man. So what does survival look like to you? What was survival to you?
What creates survival is watching your mother trying to do everything, but nothing's really making sense. Like your mum's, my depiction when I knew it was all good, because before that I was doing my little thing, like making money, always done that. But when I started to observe that my mother seemed to not be going anywhere with anything she's really doing. And then me and my sister, because my sister is a very intelligent woman, me and my sister started conversating even at a young age in that house. And even at 16, when my sister left, that's the easiest way to say it. When my sister left and she was getting ready to leave, that's when survival meant everything. Because when I talk about survival, I mean my sister's always been a big part of my life. Like it's crazy. Like even when you see me do things like this, fashion stuff, that's the kind of stuff that my sister was into. My sister's really into fashion, so me and her used to do these kind of things. So when my sister left, it was crazy, but survival isn't, I'm African. Right. My parents are African, but I'm British. So in the 90s, it was kind of crazy being African. Everybody wanted to talk and act like to say we're all born. This is actually England, we're all English. But my sister was a great fighter. So I'll never forget. That's why when I say my sister left, like not to say that and she was covering me, but being like 11, when you first go into secondary school, knowing that your sister, because my sister beat up a British school, she beat him up correctly. And everybody respected my sister because she could fight. And then I will never forget the
It's
day.
your older sister,
My older
yeah.
sister, yeah. I will never forget the day that she did that. Because when I came to school, it was like everybody acted like I was somebody else. I'm not gonna lie to you. Nobody bothered me again. So I've always had mad respect for my sister in that sense. Everybody around here knows what I'm talking about. Our school was just at the top of the road. We went to Hammersmith School. Everybody around here knows who my sister is, and they know my sister she's kind of with the body, man. She's a businesswoman now, but when we grew up in White City, so you gotta be on the P's and Q's.
Got it. So you mentioned that it was like a kind of a impoverished state of living around here, yeah?
Kind of.
Well, it was. So when you talk about survival in that sense, what did that environment sort of lead you to do for that survival?
It led to ingenuity, because all we are people who figure out ways to survive. Like the best thing about White City is the mix of people, because even though I said it was Yardiville, you also had the Irish, you had the Africans, and then you had the English as well. And you know what I mean? So you had a mixture of people. You know, you just go down to Latimer, it's Irish boys. What block? The block just over there at the back, just if you come out here and go left, it was all Irish boys. That block was Wolf House? Yeah, Wolf House was all Irish boys. So we used to all mix around, play on the grass was over there. And the thing was, when we were young, like survival was, look, I'm gonna go and get a pedal bike, do it up and sell it to a white dude that wants to buy a bike that's got some peas, or that you just started grafting. That's where the word grafting comes from, because you don't know, you can't pick how you're gonna eat. You know what I mean? You ain't gonna choose bananas if there's apples. You're gonna take what you can. So you graft and you hustle and you bustle and you learn how to start getting things correct, and you start learning how to make money correctly. You start learning how to count money, and you start learning appropriate things from the adults. Because I've always been a person that respect is key to success, I believe, because when you respect people above you, you learn knowledge that you will need to proceed. So for me, it was just being around the real people, picking up knowledge, using our wit. Like, he's old enough now. You have people like Tony Meade, who was part of our community, and back then he ran the estate. When I was a kid, everybody knew Tony Meade ran the estate. And what he said to me is, one of the prime things he said to me about like being in this estate, he said it to me just by the pub. You don't shit on your own doorstep. That means everybody's family, everybody ride together, because we were actually having a racial beef.
Right.
Like the white boys at the pub at the time, like really trying to, and bro, we just went and got a strap. Like I went and got the strap, like I'm not on the play thing, I'm not playing the game with you, I'm just gonna, okay, you don't like me, well I don't like you back, simple as. So he must have heard about it, he heard that man was gonna go down there with a strap thing, and luckily he came along. So he came and it was right, like when you go straight to where the adventure is, right on that
Let's
road
take a walk out there, man. Let's go and see this place. So just on that note, what were the reasons that the police were coming here like so frequently? What sort of criminal activity were you getting into at that point?
Bro, at
What
first,
led you to get into it?
Before the 90s and them things there, before we really started doing anything, they didn't really used to come round.
Right.
Then when we started really, because with the police work in a certain way.
Yeah.
Once they see that you're actually making, if you're a petty criminal, they're not concerned. They will leave you alone and you can do whatever you want to do, because you're not doing anything of any significance to really shift things. So, but once you start doing things of significance and you start actually really making money, that's when you become a liability and a problem to the police. So when did our problem really start? From about 93. Because as soon as it goes in a certain order, once you get 13, that's it. Now they're just getting ready to put you in jail. You've got 3 years to either escape going to jail, or you're going to end up in jail by the time you're 16 or 18 at the latest. So from about the 90s, they started watching us. Bottom line, let me keep how it was. One day I was actually in the block over there. I was sitting down chilling, and I remember that I had a conversation with my older, and he came up to me and he said, look, I like the way you're moving. I can see you're intelligent. I can see you're doing your thing. Well, here's the next level to this thing if you want to make these P's. If you want to get more money and you want to start making real money, here's the next level to this thing. Boom. If you can get if you can clap kettles, if you can get some kettles, I'll get you some good money for it. And I was like, so what's good money?
So just for the people that don't know what a kettle is, what's a kettle?
That's a Rolex, 18-karat Rolex watch.
Okay.
So he said to us, this was like 94, 95.
Yeah.
He said, look, if you get these Rolex watches, like you can see where we live, if you get these Rolex watches, and this is 2020 something, right? So if you get these Rolex watches, and all sorts
Yeah.
that will pay you for them. So obviously, and my actual words to him was, look, give me 2 weeks to think about it, because I needed to make sure it made sense. I needed to make sure that it was going to be something that would be productive.
So just to be clear, so at this point you're already involved in some like petty criminal activity.
No, well, I'm making cheese, but not the kind of cheese that I started to make with the kettles.
Right. You get introduced to an older.
Yeah.
And he puts his proposition to you.
No, he's one of the oldest. He's one of the oldest from the hood, innit?
Yeah.
And that he's like, basically, I'm not going to go into too much detail because you know what I mean, but he everybody know the people I'm talking about, but he was one of the oldest from the hood.
Yeah.
And he just said to me, you know, like if I was in the block and one of the young G's I know that is on something, and not a young G that's not on nothing.
Yeah.
He knew that I was doing exactly. So that's what I mean. He knew I was doing my thing.
Right. Yeah,
so he wasn't coming up to me. I don't want it to be missing.
Yeah, understood. I just wanted to get that clear. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So he already knew
You're
that
already doing your thing, but he's
little rascal.
seen some potential in you.
Yes.
This is how you can level up.
Exactly. It's how you can
Right.
start making that big cheese. I believe that you've got the potential to get what I need because it's a two-way thing. So I told him I'd take 2 weeks to think about it. And to be honest with you, that block right there, we were in that block. All of us were chilling.
Yeah.
Everybody from the hood was chilling in there.
Yeah.
It was me, my co-defendant, and a couple of other dudes.
Yeah.
Boom. I just said to them, why are we sitting here smoking weed and doing nothing with our lives? That was my exact words to them. I said, why are we sitting here smoking weed and doing nothing? They go, what do you mean? I go, bro, you know what? My man said to me, bro, just like, bro, right, if we clap a couple of kettles, just like a couple of the old, because obviously there was olders doing it already. Man, they start getting paid like the olders. You know what I mean? Man, let's get like 3.8, 5.5. You could get 10 depending on what you get. Boom. First thing we did was jumped. I'm gonna keep it 100. We jumped on the train, went straight down to the West End, and we got a kettle. Came back, we got £3,800 for it. Ever since that was it.
Okay.
We came straight out this block right here.
Yeah.
We were in this block.
Yeah.
Came out the block, went straight to White City train station, went into the city, and just started making money.
Yeah.
And it's like an adrenaline. You know what it is? It's like an adrenaline rush. Yeah, so that's basically how it started. I don't want to just seem like I'm just going on and on.
Yeah, no, I get that. Okay, so this is the activity that eventually led you into going to prison.
Yeah.
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 How-
Rolexes.
Rolexes.
But here's the funniest thing about it. I have never been caught with a Rolex. I've never been caught stealing a Rolex. I've never been caught with a Rolex at any time. I've been caught for like jewelers, like smash and grab. I went to jail for trying to smash and grab a jewelers.
Right.
But I've never been caught for Rolexes. But what actually happened was we were caught. We got arrested because a couple of guys out decided it would be smart to do something stupid. So when they've done this, it's baited us up. We've got arrested in the long run. We were supposed to go. Here's the funny thing: we were supposed to go to ID parade for one crime.
Right.
We went to the ID parade for 57 crimes. They had us there from till 7 in the evening. We were the only ones in the ID parade. Out of 57 crimes, only one person picked me out. One person just picked me out, like he just happened to pick a random person and picked me out.
Yeah.
And they decided that made us criminals, and that's basically the case.
Yeah.
The case was not something that was like, oh, you caught us stealing or you caught us robbing somebody. No, we were just black kids that got arrested. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the reason I'm not upset is because we did do it and we did participate in it and we did make the money and we spent it. So it was not like to say I think I sent you a news, because we made the news, we were in the news.
Yeah,
we
that's
made
right.
the news, and these are the kind of things that people don't understand, because my main thing is to get to what I'm doing today though, but just giving you a breakdown.
We're going to get to that, yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%, man, yeah.
Because we made the news, but everybody knows in the city. Everybody knows that we're the Rolex kids. White City is where Rolex is. The whole Rolex fashion started. It's a West thing. Can't nobody on the planet tell me no different. Nobody anywhere else told me to do this apart from the man them in my hood. Like we were clapping kettles before we saw it. Everybody else was doing Brightlands and whatever they were doing. We was on the 18s and carts. We was on the 18s and the carts, and you know how we do. You know the people from around here. Everybody bust their thing correctly. You know what I mean? And this has been from day one. But that thing there, like the first guy to pop a Kets, George the First. You know what I mean? Good to see you, my G. Always good. The first guy to pop a Kets, which is known, you could go around, is George the First. He's right from my hood. Like this is like lineage. Like then you got the man them from Grove, you got the man them from Fulham, and then you got the man them from Acton. Like it's not just White City though. Like everybody do this thing around like around
London,
West London. Yeah, it's like that's why I say to you, it's a West Side thing. It's not just something that I do. It's like religion. We've been doing it for morning. The elders, they were doing it. We had to eat. Did you see? This is what the Americans would call a project.
Yeah.
But we call it an estate.
An estate.
You know what I mean? And back in
Let me ask you something though, because you said that your older sister's quite educated, right? So how comes you decided to go down that road as opposed to getting involved in education and a career?
I'll give you the blatant straight answer.
Yeah.
Because my sister's a black woman, and I always knew from a young age that a black woman would be given the opportunity she wanted, and I knew it would be a waste of time for me to go to university and study a course that has never gotten any other black man anywhere. And I told this to my cousins. I told this to my cousin in Shepherd's Bush. I said, you're studying something that's never helped any other black man before you. I'm going to go and have fun. You're not going to waste my life. I'm not going to waste my life, no way. You're not going to tell me, even in jail. Like in jail, they had me studying. They say, oh, you're very intelligent. We'll do this course. I said, why? She goes, because it's good. I said, but it's going to mean nothing, because when I get out of here, it's not going to do anything for me. It's not going to get me a job. It's just going to prove to you that I have the articulateness to do it. And so it was actually my intelligence, I believe, because I've done these things that have put me in a position where I can do this with you. If I'd gone to university and believed what they told me, I wouldn't be able to do this, because this is going to, there's so much more to what we're now doing as grown men. Because we've never been grown men. This is now a totally different, what's happening, Big G? Good to see you all the time. Yeah. This is now a different era for us. I'm now a big man. I'm no longer young sick. I'm no longer sick, the guy that men know. I'm no longer that greasy bread, because that greasy guy can't work with you. That greasy guy can't take the kids to the gym. That greasy guy can't talk with politicians. That greasy guy can't talk with chief of police and sit down and do interviews with people like yourself and everybody else. So at this age, I've got to be grown. Yeah.
Just a question, just going back, because what you said about qualifications not leading to anything for you at that point, I've heard that before from people of your generation and older. Would you say that still applies today in this generation for the young? You still think that?
I would say yes, because you see what people confuse is demography is an expansion of people. Like me and you are going to have kids, then that's going to mean we're going to have more black kids. But that doesn't, then out of them more black kids, you might get one or two more. Like, okay, when we were growing up, there was no black Formula One drivers. Now we've got Lewis Hamilton. No, that's just because there's more black people. It gets harder for you to keep the black people out the more that they grow. You're gonna have to see many people. There will be a white person over there that sees a black person with Helen, and they bring them. Now there's more black people. There are probably black people in Scotland, and there's a white person in Scotland that says, you know what, he's got the ability to do this. So you start getting more black people in, but it doesn't mean things have changed. We've just grown.
There's just more.
Yeah, just more. So it's just a percentage thing. But if you understand the percentage, nothing has changed.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah. So when they're telling man,
if it was 1 in 20 before, it's now just 2 in 40.
Yeah, it's even worse. But you think it's better because you're seeing more. And the thing is, where we have this this play on words, like now we're now being fed the so-called mixed race agenda. That's to soften everybody to black and then to make us feel like we're achieving something. First and foremost, I'm not saying this to be wrong, these are not mixed race people. The word mixed race is only being used, and I'm saying this as blatantly as it is. It's only being used today because white men now sleep with black women. Because there was a time when black women didn't sleep with white men. I'm telling you, they wouldn't even chat to a white brother. But white women slept with black men. And white women had children with black men. But you see the children the white women had with black men.
Half caste.
Yeah, or they were black. They were not mixed race. There was no like an acceptability, like there's a joint. No, they're black, and they are black people. They're done as IC3 by the government. You might change it. Yeah, you go to the police station. If you think to go with your so-called mixed race brethren, any person that's claimed to be mixed race, when you get arrested, you're going to realize you're only mixed in the mind. You're a black person. Yes, your parents is white, but you're a person, and the dominant genetics in you is the black genetics, and it shows prominently. So you're defining, or you could just watch documentaries like Blood in the Sand and speak to white people that would just tell you straight, one drop of anything changes, you're not white. White people, Aryan race people will tell you that kind of match. So I don't have to go that deep, but you understand.
So what I want to get from you today as well, so you've done this crime, been convicted, obviously you never got caught with a Rolex, but you still ended up in jail. So what was your prison experience like?
I'll be honest with you, prison was fun. What's happening, G? Jesus Christ, I was trying to come outside. I've been seeing everybody. Prison was fun for me. I know that might sound weird to people, but prison was fun for me. I'll be honest with you, I looked at prison as boarding school. I didn't even let it bother me. Because I was a young man anyway.
Yeah.
I was like 16. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't happy with it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be in jail, but I was in jail.
Yeah.
And you know what?
You had the mindset
To deal with it.
To deal with it, yeah.
That's why I got this. This is a prison. This, I swear to you.
That's a prison tattoo.
No, it's not a prison tattoo.
Okay.
People don't understand, and I don't really want to say too much about this tattoo because it's my. But I'm all grown. This comes out of a book.
Okay.
Right, and when I was there was a brer from around, a brer that we grew up with called Llewellyn. And the day I got sentenced, I came back from court, and I remember thinking to myself, the judge just gave me a 6, right? So he basically gave me 6, 6 and a 5, which is 15, but I got to do a 6 all in all. Yeah, I got to do a 6-year sentence. And I'm 16, 17. I've come back to Feltham. And when I got back to Feltham, I just sat there and I looked, and I was like, wow. I was like, in my head it was like, I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I was sitting in myself thinking, I was like, damn, this is gonna be a long 4 years to sit in here. That's gonna be a long time. Look, dog, this is crazy. We've been knocking out dudes already. This is gonna be a knockout show forever. My man must have sent me a paperwork with something on it to say, you know, he wanted to know where a block was or something like that. He sent it to me, I looked and I gave him the thing, then I spun it round. And when I spun it round, it had this written on the paper. Never give up hope, and if you can, find the courage to love again. And as soon as I told him, as soon as I said to bruv, you sent me what I needed, and I kept it until I came home.
So that, are you saying that altered your mindset and that carried you through prison?
Yeah.
That day, yeah?
Not just that, but just not understanding that. Think about it. It's an opening, welcoming gesture to you. When you hear it, no matter how you take it, even when I said it like that, and it's got nothing to do with a female, you can see what it means. Never give up hope. And if you can, then find the courage to love again.
To love again.
And I found it to be such a,
Cool. I just want to kind of get back to something, because when I asked you what your prison experience was like, you said it was fun.
Yeah.
So if you could go back in time, would you do that same sentence?
No, I wouldn't do it, because just knowing that of the outcome, but I wouldn't change the experience, because it's made me the person I am. Because the first thing that we learned in jail, is that we're all brethren.
Yeah.
When we first went to jail, it was like
there's a unity in there that comes here. I get it. Yeah.
No. We learned that we learned that after a while, after the first year, after we were all in prison for more than a year.
When you say we, as in you and your friends, or just everyone in there?
Everybody's everyone my doggies, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when we started being in jail, because I'm a real, everybody know how I move. So when we were in jail for about a year now, it was like a thing like, yo, you know what? When I first came here, before me and you actually started conversating, I didn't even know that you was kind of on the same levels. And then you get a nigga from South, because man was acting like niggas from South is like some aliens, and niggas from North is aliens, and niggas from the East is aliens, and out of town, Birmingham and things there, because when you enjoy, you with everybody. And then when we started all conversating and communicating, we started to realize, blood,
we're all the same.
We're all the same dudes.
Same struggles, same challenges,
everything.
To a degree,
To the degree. So, and then the thing, and here's what was the best thing about that, why I said jail was fun. That's why I said it was fun. Like, then that's how we all got, see how we all came out hench. Because now we're all working together. Now we're all percolating. Like, we're having the jail, we had Feltham on lock. We had Feltham on lock. We had Feltham on lock so bad, that's when they started dispersing bres. Like, there's too many black guys in this prison. Like, Feltham was like my estate. Like, I got bres from, sorry, I thought you was...
Yeah, it's cool.
I got bres from Peckham, New Cross, Brixton, Toast, you name it. If it's there, Hackney, all of us, it's all the same dudes, all doing this thing. And plus, before that, you need to remember we were raving. So it's not like I just knew these, it's not like I just knew these guys from the jail cells. Because we were making peas, and then we're in the West End, man's Jungle Mania, all them raves, all them jungle raves, all the jungle raves you can think of, man was there bashing. Had all the bits, so we already communicating with niggas, some of the niggas we were communicating with in the raves, and then when we hit the jails and some new niggas that you never met, or they come from they go other places, we all start communicating, and then we all realize that, what's the beef? And in that period there, when I looked at it, about 97 times in Feltham, 96, 97, we had Feltham so mad. The way all the men them came together, it was phenomenal. So they dispersed us. I actually watched them do that, because we were part of the lead gang, innit? So they're watching the man them that's controlling things. And I watched how they broke us up. I remember they sent Chaos to, Chaos is a guy from, what's it called? From Junction, Clapham Junction, right? boom. I remember they shipped him out to, is it Dover? They shipped him out to Dover. There was another dude named Loverboy and all them boys, and they just started dispersing us all.
Right.
I ended up that time I ended up in Aylesbury. They sent me to Aylesbury. They sent, I think, Jacob and J-Boy and all them boys to Portland. They were sending everybody everywhere just to break up the unity that we had. You know what I mean? So for me, that's why I say it was fun, because we were balling, like, just doing what we like living.
So was there any negatives that came out of your prison experience?
Yeah. But the negatives are not from prison. The negatives is the interaction of people outside of prison. Those are the only negatives I have anything about. My experiences in prison, it's a learning process, because I'm a fighter. Like, everything that happened, like every fight, like Nick dudes know me, I do what I do. So apart from that, but it's coming out into this, like even like now when I'm looking at my estate and I'm wondering, why is the estate like this? Why is it, these are the things that bother man. Okay, let me say it this way. When I came home from jail, I walked into my mum's house after I did that sentence. I was standing in the front room, and my youngest brother walked into the front room. He walked in the front room smiling, and I looked at my mum, and I said, "Who's this kid?" She goes, "What do you mean?" I looked at him, and I said, "I don't know who the hell told you could walk into my mum's house smiling like you're in your mum's house. But if you don't get the fuck out of my mum's house right now, I'm gonna hurt you." Do you know what the boy said to me? You do know I'm your little brother, innit?
Okay. So you didn't recognize your little brother?
I did not recognize my baby brother. I came home from jail, my baby brother was like 18 years old. Right. He was 9 when I left. He was like 18 years old. I'm looking at this boy, big tall youth in a uniform, tie was going, I think Henry Compton or whatever they call it. You want to come up the road? Yeah. He was going Henry Compton and them places there, whatever you may call it. And you know what I mean? He just seems so different.
Yeah. So you didn't feel anything, that didn't make you feel away?
Going jail?
No, like missing such a big portion of your brother's life.
Yeah, even till this day, I say to him, I don't even know you. I had the conversation with my sister. I said, I don't know my baby brother. Even though I call him my baby brother, because I used to spoil him when he was young, you know what I mean? So apart from that, I would tell you, I've said it to him as well, you're my brother, but I can honestly say I don't know you because I didn't grow up around you. Because even as a child, there was differences. Like, okay, my youngest brother wasn't born here like the rest of us. So boom, 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 so on and so forth. And then by the time you've come along and you're now in the family, I'm off to jail. And then by the time
you missed a big portion.
Too much.
How did your sentence impact on your mother? Because you're her eldest son, right?
Yeah. For the longest time, it was denial. Like, because that's why until now, you've never really heard me tell anybody I've been in jail. You will never hear me tell anybody that I'm a prisoner. You will never ever, until now, because of what I'm doing and how it's going to help and affect the community. So, but my mum, of course my mum was devastated. Good to see you, sir. My mum was because I'm her son. And I'm sitting in jail. My mum used to come my mum came to check me in jail one time. And bruv, like I had this, you see these scars, I just got into a mad war. I got this scar here, I got this scar here. And I got stabbed in the shoulder. It all happened in 1 week. It was mad beef. And then I ended up in jail at the end of the week. So my mum came to check me the next week.
And you're in a way.
I was in, I was good, because bruv, as soon as they stitched me up, I jumped out and looked for the enemy, innit? So anyway, cut a long story short, I went to jail. And my mum came to check me in jail. She goes, "You know what? I'm glad." I never forget. My mum looked me dead in my face and said, "I'm glad you're in jail." I swear to you. She said, "I'm glad you're in jail. You're gonna stay here, and I don't care." And I just thought, okay, I can see where you're coming from, because
you could end up in a box if you was out on the road.
There you go. No, for real. Because man, it was mad them days.
I've seen, because you sent me a few, some images and some articles of things that you've done since you've come home. Do you want to talk about a little bit about what you've done since you've come home?
Okay.
In terms of movements that you've made? Yeah,
I'll put it this way. Basically, in 2006 was the last time I was in jail. And we beat a major case. I should be doing, basically it was supposed to be I should be doing a major sentence. And I'll be honest with you, I prayed, and I begged. I literally prayed to God that I can't be sitting in jail doing an IPP. I've already given like 10 so many years to this thing.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it was the one time when I wasn't really officially involved. I wasn't even involved. I was just with dudes that I know.
Yeah.
So I was in jail. We sat and we prayed. And that just sat and prayed, and I came home. And basically, if you see the tattoo on my hand, it says Psalms 27. The Lord is my light and my salvation.
Yeah.
I got that done in 2006 because I felt like, dog, even the man them in Wandsworth at the time, they didn't believe how we got home. They said we paid the jewelry, all kind of mad shit. I said, I don't know what you're talking about, because I didn't pay nobody for nothing. But I don't even know how we got home. Bruv, the police stopped the car, and it was guns, silencers, balaclavas, and all kind of mad things in the car. And I got home. So when I got home, when I was in Wandsworth, I must have said to the man, I told all my men them. That's when men them on the roads talk to me that don't actually know me. I just ignore them because you don't know me. I told all of my men them, the men them I grew up with, the men them I roll with, I make money with, in Wandsworth and all around town. Look, we're coming to a point now where this thing's getting silly. When I land road, and when I mean by getting silly, it's being misconstrued by too many fraudulent gangsters. So I said to my man them, I said, look, once I land road, because the truth is, I know a lot of you ain't coming home. That's why I said it. A lot of you ain't coming home. One of my brethren from Grove, he was doing 24 just for talking. A peer man doing life sentences and all them things there. I just said, look, when I get home, I'm going to go and sit down with these youths, and I'm going to start educating and schooling them to the game. So, but when I came home, I didn't do that. Then I started doing it a little. I started. That's why I said to you I wanted to go to Chiswick. I started doing the 140 night, the rave thing. Now for me, that was community cohesionness. I said, let's do this. Then I told all the men, I said, look, I'm doing this club night, not for the chicks. I got everything I need. I'm not doing it for the chicks. I'm doing it for the young G's to know each other, like the olders did for us. We used to go Emerald Center, Simba, and them places, and then after you fight a little, you get to know each other, you become friends. You know what I mean? You grow up, you start making money together because you know each other. This was 2009. In 2009, I tried to start doing, 2008, when I came home, I started doing the club nights, potions nights in Chiswick, come to ladies free, man, then play a little fiver, you get champagne drinks, DJ, even to where I'm picking like Celebrity Super. I had Celebrity Super doing the DJ, and I was in the thing where I was going to use the community to build the community. Like, I'm from here, I'm the one that set the trend for these niggas. I'm sick. Go out of town, niggas will tell you sick does this thing. Like, these niggas are not as bowdy as you think. A lot of them, if not for me, they wouldn't even come home from jail. I'm not saying it to diss them. I can go get the niggas that was dissing them, and they can tell me the difference. But we're not here to discuss that. So when I came home, it's like, yo, let's start getting the community to come together. Your little son needs to know my little son. My son needs to know your daughter needs to know my daughter. Our kids need to know each other so they grow up in cohesions. Instead of fighting each other, before all three of them broke out into a fight, one's gonna say, hold on, stop. You don't know my man's dad's gonna say something. You don't know my man's mom's gonna say something, and you don't know his auntie and uncle not gonna like it. Because when we know each other, we communicate before we fight, right? The point I was trying to make though is that the point was to get everybody to come together. In fact, you see, this will go into this. My thing was to get everybody to come together, start doing what we're doing. So when I came home from jail, I keep it nice and light. When I came home from jail, I started doing potions one night, 140 night. There's this. Then I got involved with a female. She got pregnant, and it kind of took me off. It derailed me off my thing. In between that, I messed up my leg, but in between there, I decided to do 20 years of silence.
Yeah, that's good. Just before you come to that, because I know you also you bought an estate agency. Is that when you came home as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's a big move.
Thank you very much.
What did your peers think of that? Like the people that you involved on the road with, what did they think of that?
They were hating. Yeah. I'm not even gonna spread no fake love. They were hating.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep it 100.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we're at this point, because I'll be honest, all the other shit was just garbage. That's stuff that happened in the 90s. If you lived here, you know. If you don't, if you know, you know, as we say. Yeah. This is the stuff I want to talk about. Okay, so we've done all the mad things back in the day. Now we're here. I go and open a business. I get a franchise. You're my bridget. So I run down to all the man them in the hood. Yo, come and get 25% of this franchise. Start getting legit. So by now, niggas, if you was getting 25% is 25% of the overall profit. If we started off making £2.5 grand, you get 25%, so you might get £250. When we move to £5 grand, you get £500, or maybe more, depending on the percentage raise. You know what I mean? So the more we raise, if the business becomes £1 million business, you're making 25% of £1 million.
Yeah.
So when I ran around to these breads, and I'm like I said, that's when I realized they were hating. I realized that they still held animosities from back in the days. Like, because, bruv, I was that kid. I was getting the chicks, all the fresh chicks wanted to. I wish Kamal was here, he would tell you. So it seemed like they were holding animosity, blood. Let's come together. Let's lock down the block. Let's start giving jobs. Bruv, I employed women from our state, from our communities, black women. Come, I know, and okay, watch this, because I'm a very intelligent human being. I kind of knew that the business would flop. And I know that sounds kind of peculiar, but if it didn't flop, that would be the unique factor. If it did flop, that would be the learning process. Because you see what I'm saying? Thank you. And that's why when people talk to me, because I know I'm willing to, if you're not going to gamble,
risk and reward.
Yeah, risk and reward. And if you're not, that's the kind of person I am. I'm a risk and reward person. So when it came down to it, I knew that if it worked, it would have been a bonus. If it didn't, it would have been something we'd have learned from, and then we'd go straight back to the table with more knowledge. Yeah. You know, like chicks that didn't. Okay, I knew there were hood chicks. I knew we came out the hood. I knew we didn't work in the estate agencies and them things there, but we got a speed dial right now. You got a you. Your baby daddy's gone jail. You got a you. Things is happening. Let's now get together and make this thing happen. Learn quick. But where black people have this way where they hate to be wrong at any point, we hate to admit to faults. If they accepted what I said to you, if they understood that I would look at it that way, it would have been all right for us to flop the business and start again. Why? Because now I got a different kind of women. I got women that actually know estate agency now. Even with the limited amount of knowledge, now they know 100,000 times more than they did when we first did the thing.
When you go again, it's going to be from an educated, knowledgeable position. And I get it.
Exactly. Everything I told you. We grew up in we grew up here. We went jail. We've lost brethren. We've done this, we've done that, and then I've opened a business. And then after I've opened the business, I've gone on to do what I'm now doing. Because the business was 2013. Since then, I've been in and out of hospital. It's only now that I'm recouped and recovered and I'm back in energy that I can start doing what I want to do. And that's 20 years of science. What's 20 years of science? Now, that's my passion. That's what I believe will help our young boys become men.
Right.
As in, because here's what's happening. A lot of these kids have been misinfluenced by myself in an accidental way, and I'm going to cut straight to the chase because it's people's children we're playing with. So let's walk back here, and I'm going to show you something myself. Now, because everybody know me, I'm a kind of person, I'm a black person, I love being black. And I love black people. If I say a black person needs something, I give it to them, I don't care. I'm a soldier, I'm going to find something else. So anyway, cut long story short, met this young black kid in the gym, asked me to help him, woody woo. Then the kid flips on me. Before he made this rap video, I asked the kid, I said, yo kid, do you actually know who I am? He said, no. I said, you don't know who I am? He said, no. I said, are you from White City? He said, yes. He named a couple of kids that know, a couple of the young, but they're big men now. He named a couple of the young boys from the hood. And I said, yeah, they know who I am. So how come you don't know who I am though? Because I know who they are and I know they're from my hood. I've never seen you in the block or nothing, but you're saying you roll with them. You say you're from, you know what, I'm a big man. Maybe I ain't even really pay time to see your face. Cut a long story short, the you asked me to be in his rap video.
Right.
And before he put me in the video, I said to him, look, cuz, if you put me in this rap video, you need to understand, I need to go legit. Because I've always done music. I know music. I've some music, something I've done all my life. Even me and, music I've done all my life. So I spoke to the kid and I said, look, we're going to set up a record label. Boom, boom, boom. So like, he did the video, recorded the video. If we cross, like, it's almost where this lady's going, exactly where this woman's going, you know. And this youth's a little pagan, but I'm not here to talk about him. He did the video, and then he's baited me up. But he was supposed to be one of the first 20 years of science candidates. You came out of jail for a murder or an attempted murder or something. You beat the case. You're claiming you claimed you were innocent. You're claiming you want to change your life, and you came to an older guy to help you do that. So, anyway, you came to, this is my block. You've come to my block. You want to shoot a video. We've actually, when you watch the video, we're actually sitting right here. And my legs kind of hurt. I want more mind. Like,
that's cool. Let's take a seat.
Yeah, sounds perfect to me. Like, so basically,
we started, he put me in the video and he's baited me up. He's shown, basically you've just baited me up and I told you what it would be. And then he hasn't come back with it.
But let's talk more about what the actual project is. What is 20 years of science?
How can I explain it? Because I've been explaining it for years. 20 Years of Science is a project that takes you, like, you see how we live in here? Instead of selling drugs, okay, let me just break it up, because I keep it to myself because these internet guys steal my ideas. 20 Years of Science is a replacement for drug dealing, where I teach you how to train people. But there's also different aspects to it.
You don't have to go into too much detail if you don't want to put that out there.
No. They already know, and the kids, the young, but I'm going to do me. It's not what I say, it's what I do.
It's the way you do it.
So the aspect is, basically, I went to Chelsea Football Club. I had an idea that I believe would make sense. And I went to Chelsea Football Club and I said, look, here's what I'm doing. 20 Years of Science is what I'm doing. 20 Years of Science is a project that will help young kids become entrepreneurs, and I will show them how to use Instagram. I said to people I would show them how to use Instagram as a business platform. That way they can train people and also use Instagram to advertise their businesses and what it is they're doing. Went to Chelsea Football Club, spent days and nights writing up a business plan and all sorts, took it into the business course, sat down, did the course, completed the course, passed, got my certificate for being an entrepreneur, and then Chelsea Football Club actually gave me money to do this. In 2017, I came back to my community as 20 Years of Science, trained a lot of the kids, a lot of the young boys on this estate. I took them to the Phoenix Gym, which is at the top of this road. We were out here, we did a festival in the estate, in this estate right here. We did our festival. 2017, I was part of that. 20 Years of Science was a big part of that. We had the park, I went on stage, we spoke about what we were doing, how we're gonna do it. And basically we take the kids, take them to the gym. My process is, look, I'm gonna take you to the gym in the morning. So from 8 o'clock, you got to meet me at 8 o'clock. We got to get to the gym for 9 o'clock. Why are you doing this? Because this is working hours. You do understand what I'm saying to you? We're trying to recondition you to being a normal person in society. People don't sleep till 12 o'clock every day. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Yeah, so we use the gym as a process to get you into training. Get you training, get your body, your mind, your body and your soul healthy. Get you thinking constructively, get you doing things differently. Get some discipline into your spirit. You know what I mean? And then after that, we then initiate different things, these are the things I won't say, but these are the things that I put in play, which only happen when you sort of complete the process where, you know, a man can look at you and say, you know what, okay, maybe
he's ready.
You see, I didn't even want to say it, but you said it. You said it yourself. So that's basically what it is. But it's the tutelage and the learning, and this is where people like you come in, because what people don't understand is, these are the kind of things I probably speak to you about off camera. But people like you then come into play. For me, it's a mechanism that continues to build once it's understood. And why do I speak in the sense that I speak? I said it to you before. We have just become grown men. There's never been a time in our lives. That's what I keep trying to explain to the rest of the man them. You're confused. There's never been a time in your life that you were ever 40 years old before. So there's never been a time in your life that you were a big man and you had the opportunity to actually do things on a worldly scale, because every other time you was in your parents' abode and they were fixed abode and they were taking care of you.
Your mindset was different.
Yes, exactly.
You were younger, you didn't have the wisdom, the experience.
And the knowledge. What's happening, G? Yeah, you didn't have the things that it took to be, you were just a young person growing up. Yeah, so 20 Years of Science, I even like that. So
yeah, let's just have, summarize 20 Years of Science in 2 sentences.
In 20 Years of Science is taking these kids away from gang crime. It's a gang crime prevention program.
Right, that's good for me. That's good for me. So I always ask my guests, like this before we close up now, and this has been very insightful. If you could go back to a 16-year-old you, what advice would you give yourself to prevent you from making some of the bad decisions that you made in your life?
Hang out with the South Acton niggas. Fact up. If I could do anything different, I would have spent my time in South Acton and never messed with half the dudes I mess with on this, especially the dudes I'm known for knowing. I'm known for rolling around. I would never have known them.
I would never have hung out with them at all. Like, these are not people that are the same as me. So I would have hung out with niggas from South Acton, 100%. That's the only thing I would have changed. Anything else would have been a lot more money. Because I'm very intelligent, and from what when you grow up and you come to perceive human beings differently, you realize that, this is what I said to one of my brethren. If I can make the money I made with them, I could have made more with the acting niggas. Yeah. That's the one thing I would change.
Cool. Do you think that there would have been a different road, a different path that you could have taken?
No.
No.
In all honesty, this is what you're looking at is, in all honesty, no.
That was it.
There would have to have been a black change, as in black people would have had to have had something of substance. There was none of that when we were growing up. And everybody here knows it.
Interesting. All right, Sicka,
Okay.
Mr. Sick.
No 7 question.
We're gonna do that. Yeah, that would wrap that. So, brother, thanks for coming on the Prison Radio project.
Thank you very much.
Like I said before, it's been very insightful. I've enjoyed like tapping into some of your experiences from back in the day, before I was around. This estate means something to me as well. I've got family on here, but you know, you've given me more history as to what was going on here
All the
during
olders.
those times. And I'm sure hopefully the guys at home took something from that. Once again, thank you for tuning in, staying with us to the end of the Prison Radio project. As always, I'm sure someone you know will take something from what my man here said. So share, like, subscribe, just keep passing it on, man. Spread that love.
Can I?
I'm out.
Could I say this? Thank you to everybody. I know I'd like to talk a lot, but it's been a few years. I haven't been around. I'm now grown, so I keep the whites here. And please, man, what we need to do as black people is come together. Yeah, the beefing, the war games, they don't lead to nothing. Like, I'm talking about a state that used to be so nourished. Now it's so empty because half these boys either in jail for killing somebody or they're dead, or the rest are in jail for silly things. You're our children. You're the children that we want to bring into the new world. Like, the more you learn now, by the time you get to my age, which is 40, the less there will be for you to do. And the easier it will be for your children. Like, you got to build the bridges right now that's going to be for your children to cross. You understand what I'm saying? You got to build the bridges for your children to cross. You can't just be sitting here and thinking, no, cool is not. Look, I grew up in white. You don't have to be cool. You just have to be on point. Let's start working. All this boozy where you got a studio and you don't want a guy to come to your studio, but yet you ain't making no money though. You ain't putting out no #1 records and none of that, but you don't want to help somebody, or you got equipment. When we start working together, many hands make light work. I'm glad that I'm healed. I'm glad that I'm not doing a life sentence. I'm glad that I can be saying this to you. I'm glad that I'm recovered, and I'm glad that I'm going to be able to play a part in my community as a black person. I'm proud that I'm going to be able to take part in my community as a black man. And I'm proud that I'm going to be able to say that I'm part of the leadership of my community as a black man. And that's what you youngins, that's what you want to be dreaming about. How can I be the next leader of a community, of my community? How can I be part of the leadership? How can I bring equity to my community? What is my skills? Is it engineering? Is it sewing? Is it art? Is it doctoring? Are you in law? We've got to start thinking on these levels, because if we don't start thinking on these levels, we're never going to achieve. We have to come out of our adolescence. We have to grow up. I hope they play this. I think this, to me, is really where my heart's at. Everything else is what I've been saying. This is what I really want. Let's show money now. Yeah, let's start getting money. Let's show money. In other words, let's start working. Let's have businesses. Let's have this guy making movies. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Let's have people doing things, and let's have our nation growing. Let's be sitting down, and I'm saying to my dog that just interviewed me, and I'm not meaning to take over on anything. I'm just speaking my heart. Let me be able to say to him, you know what? In 10 years' time, we're looking at our young sons, and we're saying, you know what we're doing here? That's what's going to make our young sons never have to go to jail. No, never. And if you don't believe it, though, you will never achieve it. And that's why when I say to people I'm that guy, they don't understand. I made my niggas in this estate. It's because of me, my dogs got money. Because I'm a proactive person. So let's all be proactive. We're black people, we're strong people. We can't just be strong in shouting, strong in fighting, and strong in argument. We've got to be strong in will. We've got to be willing to go forward and do our own thing. I want to make a movie. I don't need a white man to talk. I'm not being rude to nobody. I don't need a Chinese, Indian man or nobody. I need me. I need him, and I need the rest of my community to be willing to participate and do what we need to do as people. We keep leeching off everybody. We're now becoming the leeches of the world. We don't have no technology, nothing. You can't keep blaming people for seeing the flaws in our community, in our race, and in our culture. Yeah, we have a lot of talent, but talent is not all it takes to be humans. Yeah, you got to have etiquettes and all these other things, and a lot more, and bring something tangible to the table. One nation to all my black people. Look out for Vacancy. Do you mind me throwing in Vacancy? Vacancy is a song that I'm putting out. I hope you like it. I think it's hard. Well, it should be. I'm that guy though. I think everything's hard. So thank you for giving me the opportunity, the Prison Radio Project. And you're going to see me hopefully again on their show, because I want to then talk like this with my friend here now that we're all sitting and talking, yeah? So One Nation, man. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for the time. Bless.